Now, as requested last week, someone said, can you do a tutorial for a double lift? Now, this is just going to be a simple tutorial for my basic double lift that I go to every time. There's plenty of other in-depth ones out there with all the different moves and ways to do it, but this is just the basic version and for beginners and how I learned it. And this is the one I use. Now, importantly, is the deck of cards you use, I think. Now, I go for a borderless back with quite a crazy pattern on it, as you can see, as it's quite good on the eye. When you push the cards over, it kind of hides discrepancies quite well. I mean, you can still see it and you still notice it, but if you're beginning and you're not perfect at them, these are great to use if you're doing performances because it slightly hides it, and then you'll get away with doing a double lift. Now, mine aren't perfect, but you just got to keep practicing. That's all it takes with a double lift is practice. Once you get the technique down, if you keep repeating it over and over, then you'll get it down eventually and it'll be spot on. Now, the way I do it is I push off as if I'm going to push 2 cards over, like you would, around the top area with your side of your thumb. Just push. It doesn't matter if a couple of other cards go over. And then with your other hand, your 2 fingers and your thumb are going to pinch underneath these 2 cards and turn. Now you can use the edge of the deck here, because these aren't perfectly square as you can see, to square them up. So you just push it down, and then your index finger is going to come and grab the top to support it and hold it all square. And that's how you can show the card. And then the same again with your 2 fingers and your thumb. You want to pinch, hold it nice and tight, put some good pressure on with your thumb, pushing down on it to keep them together. And you can use that edge of the deck again to drop them back down. Now this is just going to take practice. You won't get it on your first go or your second go, but after a while, keep doing it, you'll get them down nice and clean, like that. As you can see, that was a double. So I'll run through it again slowly. So you want to hold your deck in dealer's grip. I like to put my pinky at the bottom just to support it. And then you want to push slightly with your thumb, trying to aim for 2 cards. You want to grip with your fingers and square as you turn, and then push with your index finger to square up finally, and then you can come forward and show. And then again, put your index and your middle finger underneath and your thumb on top, quite a bit of pressure, and turn it over and drop it back down. And then obviously you could go into an ambitious card routine where you put the card in the middle of the deck and then it jumps back to the top. There's a lot of things you can do with a double lift. Double lift is so well used in Magic and it's a very clever tool to have. So again, push off 2 cards, it doesn't matter if a couple extra go, pinch with your fingers and thumb, turn over and square up with your index finger on the top, come forward and show, and then the same again, fingers underneath and lay it flat back down, and then you can go into the trick, which you are doing. Now that's just one variation of a trick you can do with a double lift, very simple, good for beginners, but there's plenty of other things you can do. Double lifts be used for all sorts. I think if you search it up, there's plenty of tricks out there that involve double lifts, and it's a very handy tool to have, like I said. One more time. I'll do it up close to the camera. So you want to push, grab, square up, and then square with your finger on the top, come forward and show, and then the same again with your fingers and drop down, and then you can go into the trick or whatever you're doing. That's just what I like to do with it. And again, one more time, this time in full speed. I'll do that again in full speed because that wasn't very clear. So turn over 2. And then, obviously, when you do that, try not to flash as you lift it up. My bad, I should have explained that. So what you do is when you turn and you get to this stage, and then you've come back down, and it's all dropped square, try to angle the deck down and the card down, because otherwise you'll flash the indifferent card. That is one big problem for this camera angle anyway. When you're doing it for people, no one's down this low, but if you're doing it for camera, try not to flash that. And obviously when you lose it in the deck, it comes back to the top. That's a great trick, an ambitious card routine with a double lift. Everyone loves it. Now, if you want to learn more tutorials, leave them in the comments below again, and I'll go through them and pick something to teach next week. But like, comment and subscribe, and be sure to share and comment on this video. Cheers.